Welcome to the Straight Out of Home Video podcast, part of the Geeky Waffle Network. Today we're talking about A Very Merry Pooh Year. I'm Candace, and with me is my fellow Waffle Mack. Hey, Mac.
Hey, Candace. It's great to be on.
Yes, Mac requested to be on this episode when I gave him some Christmas options. So, Mac, why A Very Merry Pooh Year?
Well, I grew up watching the Pooh movies and the animated episodes that they had on VHS. So I think there was the one that pops in my head right away is Sharing and Caring, which was a segment of the new Winnie the Pooh adventures, I think. And so I grew up watching The Search for Christopher Robin. And so when you gave me the selection and I saw Winnie the Pooh, that was yes, I'm going to that immediately because I just grew up with Winnie the Pooh, like most of us did, and I really enjoyed the character and the stories, and there's so much charming nostalgia to it.
There really is. And this came out in 2002. However, it includes the 1991 Christmas television special, Winnie the Pooh, and Christmas 2. And that was actually something I actually remembered this short, where they're writing a letter to Santa, and they send it out by the wind, and they realize Winnie the Pooh didn't ask for anything from Santa. So they get the letter back and then they're like, oh no, Christmas. It's already Christmas. It's too late to get it to Santa. So Winnie the Pooh becomes Santa and hijinks ensue.
Oh, yes. Nothing really goes how they planned. And that's pretty typical for a Winnie the Pooh adventure. I was wondering, the parts of it felt so familiar and I didn't remember watching it, but there were parts of this special that I was like, maybe I have seen this before. So I wonder if maybe somewhere down the line I caught this.
The 90s special.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I think I did too.
Because I bet it was the one that was included, right?
It was, there's a through line of the gang decorating a Christmas tree and they're telling Roo about some past holiday hijinks. And it's two different movies. It's Winnie the Pooh and Christmas 2, and then a new film, Happy Pooh Year. These titles.
See, I was kind of thrown off by that because as soon as they started diving into the story with Roo, I was like, okay, so this movie, this is going to be an anthology. There will probably be several little stories, and there was only two, so I was kind of surprised. It threw me off. I was expecting at least one more.
Yeah, because usually, we saw in the Tarzan movie, the Tarzan and Jam movie,
yes,
the Atlantis movie, and a few others. Oh, the Hercules one. There are usually 3 episodes of the TV series that are put together with a few new scenes to make it into someone telling a story. But this time, it was we got 2 of them, we're putting them in, we're done.
So was it just I wonder what the thought process of that was. We're already we're gonna throw in a movie that we've already shown and we're just gonna call it a story and then we'll do something original on top of that looks slightly different in animation.
Yeah, so they actually they tried to integrate it by they had a new actor re-record Christopher Robin's voice from 1991 so it all matched.
Okay.
And they also changed Rabbit's skin to make it look like his modern appearance because he was more greenish looking in the new Adventure series.
Yes, and I remember that from like I said, that VHS copy that's still at my mom's house actually of Sharing and Caring, which I think was 3 or 4 episodes of the new Adventures, and so I remember that.
Yeah, so yeah, they try to make it put together, but the animation is much sleeker in Happy Pooh Year than obviously the 1991 part. But yeah, that 1991. That Christmas thing. I was like, wait, I have seen this somewhere locked in my nostalgic
Yeah, it felt very
brain.
familiar. I just can't remember actually watching it. So I don't know if maybe I caught it on TV at some point when I was a kid, or it's just one of those things that, you've seen somewhere down the line, but you can't recall exactly when you watched it.
Exactly. I feel like it's probably something like my parents recorded on VHS and just threw on for me over and over again. Because my sister and I love Winnie the Pooh a lot.
Oh, I mean, what's not to love? It's so charming and it's a really nice escape for a while. Even when, as an adult going back and watching some of this, it's it brings you back.
Yeah, it made me want to decorate a tree.
Exactly. Yeah, it put me into the Christmas spirit, actually.
Yeah. I forgot that Winnie the Pooh would talk to the narrator, which is
so
cute.
I forgot about that too. And the narrator would at some points have a conversation with them and Tigger would reflect on what the narrator was saying. And I totally forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. And this time the narrator is Michael York, which I was like, why is that voice familiar? Oh, and speaking of familiar voices, this movie features songs by Carly Simon.
You know what? I immediately had a nerd attack because Carly Simon also did the theme song for one of the James Bond movies, which is how, I've become obsessed with some of her music. I don't know much about her as a person, but I do know, that she was with James Taylor for a little bit. And so when I saw that she was involved with this movie, I was pretty excited.
Yeah. It was just like, I was like, okay, these two voices, I know them. How do I know
We've heard them? We've grown up with these voices.
So in the summary, when you put on Disney Plus and you put it on the TV, it's like Rabbit threatens to leave if his friends don't change. And I was like, wow, that's super passive aggressive, Rabbit. Like, that's not healthy. That's very toxic of you.
Yes. And then change they do.
They do. And they just change themselves into they just switch personalities.
You know what it made me think of?
Yeah.
Was have you seen the live action Scooby-Doo movie when their souls are being like transported into each other's bodies? Yeah. It kind of gave me that vibe, and it threw me off a little bit. Like when Eeyore was in Pooh's red shirt, I was a little uncomfortable.
No, that freaked me out.
I was freaked out too.
That disturbed me. He smiles with like his teeth and his ears are up.
And he has honey all over his face. It was quite,
He's wearing the red shirt and everything, and he's like standing upright. I was like, no, I want to go home. I'm uncomfortable.
It's not the Eeyore that I know and love, okay?
Yeah. Go back to being depressed, Eeyore.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so they learn about New Year's resolutions.
One of the things that I really did...
Oh, they learn about New Year's resolutions from Christopher Robin. And I thought it was cool because like most of these holiday things are just about Christmas. So it's nice that they, New Year's gets a little.
Even I think some of the New Year's specials sometimes are still kind of related to like the aftermath of Christmas and stuff like that. And you still have the Christmas trees up and everything like that. And so I did appreciate the kind of focus on the New Year. And it definitely had that vibe. And that's where it kind of plays in with them changing their personalities a little bit, because they're like, oh no, our friend Rabbit is leaving. What are we going to do without him? And so, let's make a resolution and we'll be completely different creatures.
Even though they're just changing into
cartoon characters. Yeah.
Yes. They're changing into each other, which I'm like, that's not Rabbit wanted you not to be anything like that. It's just like Tigger stops bouncing. Yeah, Tigger stops bouncing, but Piglet starts bouncing. Winnie the Pooh gets depressed instead, and it's a hot mess. And Rabbit learns, though, that he shouldn't have asked his friends for that they're his friends, but it's very nice that they tried.
And I think he realizes that, and it just goes to show this community of playthings. I don't know what to call them, but this little community of these friends, and how powerful their bond is. And it is kind of childish, but at the same time, it's extremely heartwarming because they don't want to have Christmas without Pooh. They don't want to have New Year's without Rabbit. They're so important to each other. And so I really like that bond that they all have and that they continue to have in like all of their adaptations.
Yeah. Oh, I love that at the end, Tigger called Rabbit Rara. That made me laugh. I don't know why.
I totally forgot how much Tigger would get on Rabbit's nerves.
Oh my gosh. Tigger can push Rabbit's buttons, but everyone can't. Yes. Rabbit is like, I'm feeling for Rabbit now.
Rabbit's wound a little tightly,
Before I was like totally on Piglet. I'm like, yeah, I'm scared of everything too, Piglet. Everything's terrifying. But now I'm like Rabbit. I'm like, this is exhausting.
I don't want to deal with these younglings. I'm frustrated. Nothing's working. I feel it.
Yes. Let me have my carrots.
Yes. And, I can't blame Rabbit because his house was basically put under siege by those worm things, which...
Oh my gosh.
I was surprised. I forgot what a big role they would play in Rabbit's stories.
Yeah, I completely forgot about them too. I'm like, what are these creatures?
And I was like, you know what? I remember them. They were like reoccurring characters in the segments that would focus on Rabbit. And it was always the issues with the garden.
Yes, I do remember Rabbit being very obsessed with his garden and Tigger messing it up a couple times. And the worms, the bugs or whatever they were.
Yes. Owl was gone from this.
Yeah.
From this movie, which I wasn't prepared for, actually. I've always considered him one of the core members of the group. So that was kind of surprising.
Yeah, and Gopher is in this one, but then Gopher's not in a few others. So I feel like Gopher and Owl kind of trade off.
And Kanga, too, a little bit. I mean, out of all the characters that I think the series sometimes just kind of cuts is definitely Kanga. So I was surprised this time around that it was Owl.
Yeah. But the four always are Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, and Rabbit. Those four are always in the stories. But I did see at the beginning they had like Christopher Robin's bedroom in live action. And I saw a stuffed animal owl, so I was expecting to see him.
See him in the movie, right? Totally. Me too.
No owl.
Nope.
So there is no critic score for this on Rotten Tomatoes because only 2 critics scored it. And one gave it fresh, one gave it a not so fresh. The not fresh rating is from Movie Metropolis, and they say, if your child likes Winnie the Pooh, they should enjoy this holiday feature because it involves familiar holiday rituals with a gentle variation as only the 100-Acre Wood gang could manage. But it's only for preschoolers. Hey, we're adult people, and we thought this was charming.
Yes, and we enjoyed parts of it. I mean, I would have to say that the second part was the one that felt the longest and the hardest to get through. But overall, like, these are characters that we love, and I think we had our nostalgia glasses on for sure. But
definitely for the 90s movie.
Yes.
But there's just the characters are so earnest and so sweet.
Yes.
It's hard to find like fault in them.
It's kind of nice to spend time with them, after all of the like horror movie reviews I do, and talking with Brie on Killer Waffles about, killers and final girls and traps and all that. And so it's kind of nice just to unwind at the 100-Acre Wood sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Common Sense Media gave this a fresh score. Are you shocked?
Wow.
Its beloved characters celebrate holidays. Differences. That's what their review was.
That's all it says.
Yes. So, okay, can you guess what the audience score was for this? Because it actually does have an audience score with like thousands of reviews.
Audience score. Thousands, really. I would say 62.
It's close, 70%.
Oh, wow. Okay. That feels in line with what I'd give it, actually. What about you?
I think so, too. I think we always have to judge it for what it is. And like, obviously we are not the main audience for this.
No, it's for kids. It's for preschoolers.
It's for preschoolers. But like, it was charming. I was working on my Etsy shop while watching it, to be honest, because I can't just watch this completely. Or was playing with Bucky. But like, it still like had the sweet moments where I went, aw. And okay, let me read two reviews. 1 4-star from David said, lovely. Pooh will always hold a place in my heart, and this is just a delight. He obviously, agrees with us. Like Winnie the Pooh, very nostalgic. Okay, Dale R. also wrote something that spoke to me personally. The second story has 4 characters making resolutions to be less like themselves, and that didn't work for me at all. Eeyore smiles big, and it's so disturbing that I may never sleep again.
Yes, it was like, I felt genuinely scary. Yeah,
I don't know why. It was an animated donkey, stuffed animal, smiling and being happy. It unsettled me in a way that like some like horror movies haven't unsettled me.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing, and I was watching it with my partner Alex, and we looked at each other and we're like, "No, this is
wrong.
This isn't right.
Feels wrong."
Oh man, that's funny. I love that he mentioned that in his review. So
yeah.
Well,
again, like we grew up with these characters, so we're very familiar with them, and seeing one that is so set with his ears like hanging up in clothes and smiling with his teeth and eating honey, and it's just I did not
talking
like it.
Jovially. I mean, everything was just off.
Yeah.
Which I think was the point. And even Rabbit was unsettled, and he was like, okay, this isn't what I asked for. Everyone needs to go back to their original personalities.
Yeah, and everyone learns a lesson, which is good. I don't know if they're going to be nicer, quieter to Rabbit, but maybe for a little while.
I highly doubt. I think maybe Rabbit will get like 2 or 3 days of peace and quiet, and then it will be back to the regular shenanigans within time.
Yeah. I have no idea where Rabbit was thinking he was going to go.
He said this, what was it? This retirement plate. Like, it was this meadow. He called it like a retirement meadow or something, and it was very peaceful. I don't know. I always thought of him as like the old man of the group. Him and Owl as the older ones. True.
They have all the knowledge, or they think they do.
They think they do.
Yeah, because they're just making it up as they go along.
Yep. Well, I mean, most of us do.
Yeah, exactly. We just say it with confidence. Yep. We're good to go.
Yep.
But overall, Mac, feelings. Cute, right?
Very cute. And it didn't feel like a waste of time, and I'm glad that we watched it.
It was only an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, it didn't. And I'm really glad. I think if it had been longer, I would have definitely felt it.
Yeah. I think it's definitely something that you can put on in the background while you make sugar cookies or decorate the tree.
Oh, totally. Just something to have background noise and to just kind of bring that sense of warmth back into your house. If that's something that you're looking for, I think this movie definitely provides that.
Yeah, and definitely if you find comfort with these characters and, you'll just want to hear Winnie the Pooh talk about Christmas a little bit or dress up like Santa Claus, which he makes a very cute Santa Claus.
He makes an adorable Santa Claus.
They were just also sweet trying to ask Santa for things for other people.
One of the ones that stood out for me was because, earlier in this movie, Eeyore, as we know, he lives in that stick house, which always collapses, never looks comfortable, looks, awful. And Alex and I were like, he deserves a mansion. And then all of a sudden Tigger comes in and he's like, I want Eeyore to have 2 big houses. No, 3 or something like that.
Or like a condominium.
A condominium is what he decided at the end. And it was just so cute.
Yeah. Eeyore, you deserve better, but you should not smile like that. That's my takeaway.
We want you to be happy, but not that happy.
Yeah, just a little bit, because, I cannot handle that.
Also, Rabbit was getting ready to commit genocide.
On those, because we know, like, these bugs are, like, they're, like, what is it called? They're aware. They have intelligence,
Yep.
And he was, like, wanting a bug sprayer. And I'm like, this is dark. He's like...
He was going to poison them all. He gave them all food.
On Christmas.
Yes.
He's like, just y'all wait till Santa comes. I'm going to murder you after that.
Yeah, like, feel free to dig in and enjoy the spoils of my house for now.
Yes, the last meal.
Yes.
That's what Rabbit wanted murder for Christmas.
Yep. And he almost got it, too.
I know. But yeah, super cute. I'm glad Christopher Robin's in this one. A few of them that we've watched, like Christopher Robin's not in there, and I'm like, I feel like he has to be because he's like it's his imagination. That's what I always thought.
Absolutely. Like, he's the center of it all. And if not him, at least his relationship with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was glad that he was involved. And I was really glad that Kanga, like I said, Kanga and Roo, I enjoy Kanga, and I kind of wish she was involved with the main group sometimes, but I'll take small doses of her.
Yeah. The thing is, she's a mother. She's smarter than them.
Yeah.
She's gonna like just stop those shenanigans, figure it out instantly, and there wouldn't be a problem.
She doesn't need to go trolloping off on adventures with them.
Yeah. She just lets her child loose.
Yes.
Roo just does whatever the F he wants.
Oh my gosh. But Roo is so lucky growing up in the 100 Acre Wood with that group of people around him, of animals, I mean.
Yeah. Living his best life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mac, where can people find you online?
You can find me on my personal website. That's macthemuser.com. Mac is in M-A-C-K. And then you can find me on Twitter under Mac Veltman.
Awesome. And you can find us at thegeekywaffle.com. Check out Mac's awesome writing. We are on Twitter, geeky_waffle. The Geeky Waffle everywhere else, including Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Patreon. Check out our Waffles After Dark. We got some interesting things being released.
And if you're into horror, make sure to check out our Killer Waffles podcast.
But yeah, we hope you all have a happily ever after until you forget to send that letter to Santa and have to like dress up like Santa and go into your friends' chimneys.
In the cold, in the snow. It's
and
not
give them
pleasant.
Bad gifts. Yeah.
It's the thought that counts.